Robert,
Yo, what's shaking AC?
well, you definitely have more energy than I do right now.
I am just a basket full of radiant sunshine. I'm just ready to go. I got so much energy.
Awesome. Well, what's shaken is I'm in between uh, trips and
Okay.
just back settled at home for a little bit before I head out to the next one. So
Where have you
I think
been?
that's why. Pardon?
Where have you been?
I was in Miami last week
Where are you
with,
going?
pardon?
Where are you going?
Oh, where am I going? Going to the Bahamas.
And why?
Well, I know it sounds like all I do is just go to hot, sunny destinations.
Yep.
Different speaking engagements. One of them was a fired up summit for the President's Circle franchisees of British Swim School and Pool Scouts. That was super fun, helping the top performers get clear on what's getting in their way, and then recognize that they can make a difference, and that even though they're at a top level, they can still have goals and they can still get further, I mean, is what I meant to say. And they can still get complacent and they recognize that. And it was really cool to see that kind of get unlocked with them. Not just see it, but make it happen with them. And then off to the Bahamas for I get to speak at another franchise conference with a bigger group. So this will be a keynote.
Wonderful. Well, that's what happens when you do awesome things in the field support world. People are going to want to have you speak to them about field support. Like number one speaker on the planet. Call AC.
Well, there's no bias there, right? But just to be clear, I'm not speaking about field support, but that's another whole topic.
Yep.
It's more about getting franchisees fired up, and I'd love to be able to tap into my stories from when I was a franchisee and show them that I can relate to the lot of the challenges they have, and get them talking, and get them again. My whole mission and my message, whether it's a keynote or a fired up summit or a roundtable or whatever, is really to help people understand that they can own their own success. Like you can sit there and all day long look outside and blame the government, blame the economy, blame the weather, blame your staff, and all these things for your lack of success. But at
Blame
the
the
end of the day, what
tacos
can
you ate
you
last
do?
night.
What's that?
I said, blame the tacos you ate last night.
You could blame the tacos you ate last night, but at the end of the day, we have to look at what we can do. What can we do to take ownership of our own success, and that I find usually empowers people quite a bit.
Okay, so speaking about taking ownership, let me take ownership here and let's dive
Oh,
into a subject. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to rant about today?
okay. Well, recently we've had a couple of roundtables with franchisor executives and then one with the field coaches about AI. I know, everybody's talking about Chat GPT and all these different AI things. But I think what would be interesting to talk about is some of the things that I don't hear other people talking a lot about, and that is one of them is what stops people from using it. Like, you know, people hear, hear that this is so great, and you might show them something. But one thing that has happened for me is, I got really excited about the uses for it when I first, it's been so quickly growing, like the OpenAI, Chat GPT in particular. As far as I know, I'm not an expert, but it's been so quick, so rapid that initially I was like seeing that, oh, you can use it for rewriting things, you can use it for creating SOPs, creating job descriptions and things. And what I was finding personally, and I'll ask you this yourself, but what I was finding is the things that I was seeing that I could do, I didn't really need it for that. So I was like, I just didn't use it. So I'm like, I don't know what the hype is all about. For me, like I like to write my own emails, and if I mean, when I have tried using it, I found it takes a lot of effort to just even get it to sound like me anyway. And I know that people say you have to use it to get it there and all that, but I was like, I don't feel like I don't see enough value. But I've changed my mind on that. But before I talk about that, how about you? Like when were you like on the bandwagon? Oh, I got to use this, or have you been tentative? Or
Yeah, I think what's holding people back is a lack of creativity on how to use it. And I think it's because typically the most creative people within a business environment are the marketing people. So they start thinking about how they can use it. And that's what they project out. That's what you learn. But if you're not a marketing person, you're like, okay, cool. That's a great example for your world. How do I use it in my world? So if somebody starts showing you how to use artificial intelligence outside of marketing, maybe in software development, maybe in finances, whatever it is, then your wheels start turning. You say, okay, I could use it here, I could use it there, I could use it other places, right? So I think because it's new, a lot of people are like, I don't know where to use it. Let me see some examples. And most of the examples are in the marketing realm. Like I've seen multiple people write full software programs. You tell
Hmm.
them, I need a software program that does this, written in this language, that spits out these results, and it does it, right? You can use it in financial stuff, right? Like you can calculate different valuations and whatever. It's all about what you put into it. So,
Hmm.
but the other thing I think that holds people back is it's another thing to learn, right? It's not just like you can
Yeah.
ask a question, you have to give it proper prompts. And software, I mean, for all intents and purposes, AI is kind of software, is sticky. That's one of its economic moats. If you're glued to Microsoft Word, good luck getting your entire company change over to like Lotus or whatever the main competitor is, Apple Notes. It's stickiness to it. So there's a requirement to change how you operate. And I think the people who are the creative minds are usually the ones that are open to operating outside of the box.
Yeah. Yeah, but for me, I didn't know what was outside. Like I didn't know how to get there. So I just, I often use the expression that I did not make up, but a confused mind says no. When we're not clear on something, we don't take action on it a lot of the time, because it's just like I'll do that later or whatever, right? So for me, it was seeing some other ways to use it, and so I'll give a couple examples. Well, one thing is just using it instead of Google, like except for locations of things and what you would use Google for in that sense. But when you're looking up when you think back to how we used to put prompts into Google, putting that prompt into Chat GPT, you get some pretty interesting answers. So it might be like, I've got it. You could even put in like, I've got a staff member that is always sitting at the front desk chewing bubble gum, and I'm trying to think of a good way to tell them. I mean, that's just a bit of a silly one. I made that up yesterday, so I just thought I'd use it again. And you can ask, and it will tell you some ways, and then you could say, well, make it more tactful, or make it more direct, or make it. So like problem solving for me, I think the number one thing that I'm starting to see it is problem solving. So, if we are sitting in a meeting and we're trying to solve something, well, let's go ask ChatGPT. Let's see what it says. So for me, that's the big thing, the use case for it. But yesterday at the field coach roundtable, one of the things was taking all the feedback that you got from franchisees after a conference and asking it to come up with like some themes. What are the top 5 themes that are in this, coming out of these surveys, right? Oh, there's so many things, but those are a couple of things that I'm kind of interested in.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is we've got to learn to use artificial intelligence to do things for us rather than answer questions for us, because like you said, you could Google it, you could go to DuckDuckGo, you can go to Siri or Alexa, and they'll just say, these are the results I found. When you're asking a question, it's just the same thing as a search engine, right? It's just drawing on the data it has. That's the difference between AI and generative AI, right? The generative stuff actually solves problems for you based on the information that it's already read rather than the regurgitated. So I think that's sort of the path towards using it to a more fruitful degree.
Are you suggesting that I'm using it wrong?
Not
I'm
suggesting
trying to
anything.
understand what you just said.
I have no idea how you use it. I mean, we can't get into that in a 10-minute rant, but that's just kind of the way I'm feeling about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. And one thing that has been really loud and clear is that the more you use it, the more you figure out how to use it and make it valuable to you. I'm not promoting it by any means. I'm just trying to understand how I can use it personally. And then, franchisees, things like just even simple things like taking notes, summarizing notes, things like that. I'm hearing field coaches find value in. Um, I'm trying to think, workflows and creating workflows, assessing sales calls. Like there's a lot of neat things people are using it for with franchisees.
Yeah, you always say analysis paralysis, right? When you got too many options, you don't know what to do. That's what's happening with AI. You sit down and you ask it one question, it answers it, and you go, "Oh my gosh, there's so much I can do." And if you follow up and go, "Okay, what are those things?" You can't even pick it. You're facing this analysis. You're like, "I don't even know where to start," right? So you got to hone that
Mhm.
down.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a ton more we could talk about, but it's a rant, so we got to wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1,
One.
go be awesome.